Hey guys, Blake the Book Eater here, and today I'm just going to be talking about what I read in the month of April. April it wasn't too productive, but at the same time I read some books that I really enjoyed, and so without further ado, here they are. So the first half of April I spent finishing up an amazing series, which is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. And I read A Darker Shade of Magic and A Gathering of Shadows, and they were both amazing. These books, they really surprised me. There was just so much in them that it was awesome. So, A Darker Shade of Magic is set, I guess, technically in around 1812 in our world, but the majority of the story does not take place in our world. Our main character, Kel, is a traveler, and his job is to travel between these sort of parallel universes, and they intersect at certain points, and the one that he lives in London. And so there's 4 parallel Londons that he can travel through, and he nicknames them by different colors. And he lives in Red London, and Red London is flowering, and it has lots of magic, and it's just a really cool, unique place. And then there's Grey London, which is our world. It has little or no magic, and it's 1812 with King George, and then there's White London. And White London is, wow, scary. It's this place that's like leached of magic, and these people, they're like literally starving for magic. They kill people and drink their blood just to try to get at the magic in them. And it's very disturbing, and also really interesting. And then there's Black London, which we don't know too much about, but there's like almost kind of a magical apocalypse that happened there, and that's all we know. And so the main, I don't really want to give away anything other than we have a main character. His name is Kel, and he can travel between the worlds, and he meets a girl named Lila Bard, and she is probably one of my favorite characters that I've ever read. Think of Vin from Mistborn, Inej from Six of Crows, and a dash of pirate, and you have Lila Bard. It was great. I loved it. I love both books. They're great. You should go pick them up. 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read this month was We All Looked Up by Tommy Wallach, and I read this book because my book club is currently reading it, and it was fascinating. It was great. Definitely not what I expected. It was a contemporary novel, but it was unique in the sort that it was set for 2 months before the world is going to end. And our main characters have to deal with that in their own ways, and it was just a really well-written, interesting read. There were some issues I had with the plot a little bit, but overall I love the characters. 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely recommend it. Now, the next book I read has a lot of comparisons to one of my favorite books, Gone Girl, and, well, let me just say it was brutal, just like Gone Girl, and that book is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This book, it was very suspenseful. You didn't really know what was going on, and I loved it. I flew through this book. We have our main character. She's a very unreliable alcoholic narrator, and every day she takes the train to and from London, and it stops at a signal, and she's able to see into the lives of these 2 people, and she nicknames them Jess and Jason, and she thinks they have the most perfect life. But then one day, while stopped at the signal, she sees something, and she can't forget it, and then we have our insanely paced, twisted book, The Girl on the Train. The writing style was amazing. The characters, I felt for them even though they were very unlikable. I was still able to find something in them that I related to. I definitely think it's worth the read. And the movie is coming out in October, so get ahead of the curve. 4 out of 5 stars, pick it up. And the last book I read this month was one of my new favorite books, Alice by Christina Henry. This book, I don't even know where to begin with this book. It is, well, from the title Alice, I mean, you can probably already tell, it's a very dark rendition of Alice in Wonderland. And it's dark and it's bloody, and I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. The characters were, again, not very good people. Some of them just, they took their situation and made it so much better. And if you really like fairy tale retellings, or if this sounds interesting to you, you should definitely check it out. Although I do have to warn you guys that there is a trigger warning for rape throughout this entire book. It is ever present. It's just kind of the world that they live in. It's not overdone. It's not crude. It's handled very well, and the resolution of some of those arcs is very satisfying. But if you know that's something that bothers you, you might want to look elsewhere. But other than that, this book was awesome, and I definitely recommend it. And it works as a standalone, although there is going to be a continuation book coming out this summer. So if you're not into series or anything, it does work as a standalone. And I feel satisfied, but I also want more because I love the world and the characters are great, and the writing style was delicious. Is the best way that I can put it. The descriptions were vivid, and I was there, and it felt kind of like a fairy tale, but a fairy tale I would not want to be read to as a child. So honestly, 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely go pick it up. I'm bumping it up from my actual rating, which was 4 out of 5 stars, just because it's been a week since I read this book, and it has stuck with me, and the characters, it's definitely 5 stars, and I'm probably going to give it a reread. I loved it so much. So that was all of everything I read in the month of April, and I'll be reading, well, I don't know. We'll see how much I get off my TBR next month. But until then, see you next time. Bye.